and we're back. Guys, it has been a long time since we've played Old School Essentials. We have some names that we haven't seen in many weeks. Augustus, one of the very first characters we've ever made on this channel, is still alive. Level 4. We have Godfrey, our paladin, level 3. He was in our second wave of heroes. We have Dirk Coldbreath, who's still around, level 3 fighter. We've got Fingers McGonagall, level 4 thief. Ruby May, the druid, still alive, still knocking about. Kristoff, the chaotic evil magic user who sacrifices the innocent to the blood gods. Elrandon the bard, level 2, 4 hit points, still here, making his way. And then Chandler, actually, he's proven to be quite useful. We've used him a lot in our lower level dungeons. He's level 3, he's just behind Augustus. We're going to bring him along as well. There are a couple heroes we didn't bring today. Elric Parman, our retainer turned hero. We're going to save some of those lower level guys for other adventures, but these characters that we've come to know and love and root for, they are going to be delving into the Hole in the Oak. Before we get started on rolling dice, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing today. The Hole in the Oak is one of the flagship modules for Old School Essentials, and it is very well done. I've run this module multiple times for several tables, and everybody loves it. I've never had a group get through 100% of the rooms, but that's neither here nor there. Usually they get a bunch of treasure and then they make out. We are going to be playing the Hole in the Oak solo. Here you can see the entire map. I've printed it out. Our PCs don't know what's what, but we do as the Dungeon Master. We have read this entire adventure through, and it's okay, because it's not really spoilers when you're playing Old School Essentials, because there is no overarching narrative. There are factions inside the dungeon. They're at conflict with each other, so we know how they will interact with each other. But as far as how these NPC groups will treat the players, that is left up to reaction rolls. How we move our way through the dungeon is going to be randomly determined by dice. And another big factor in this is the random encounter check. That will throw a whole nother wrench into how this is experienced. Every time I run this, it's a new game. So let's get started. Our heroes have heard rumors, have heard tell of an ancient oak tree, massive, and a hole at the base, descending down into the mythic underworld. A land that makes almost no sense to the mortals. Things are a little wonky down there. They travel, they find this landmark because they heard that. Let's see the rumor that drove them here. Number 10. The most delectable night tomatoes are grown down here. And Ruby May, our resident druid, wants to gather these very rare delicacies. She knows that these have magical properties, and if she can get her eyes on them, she will be able to identify what these delectable night tomatoes can do for her and for the group. We did switch around some of our magic items on our heroes, but I think we will address that as it comes up. We've got our random encounter table, but let's drop down into the Hole in the Oak. We're going to set our heroes aside for just a moment. Light up our first torch. We have many torches. We are set and ready to go. Like, everybody's got 6. So we have a party of, I think, 8 people we've brought today. We are strapped. Let's talk a little bit about marching orders, and then we'll roll dice. We have Dirk, Augustus, and Godfrey. In any 10 by 10 hallways, you can fit 3 people. Dirk, Augustus, and Godfrey. Middle, Christoph, Fingers, Ruby. And then Chandler and Elrandon will be in the back. If it's a single 5-foot hallway, then it's Dirk, Augustus, Godfrey, Christoph, Fingers, Ruby, Elrandon, then Chandler, who has a very high armor class in the very back. The first torch is lit, and we see at the bottom of a shaft, we tie up our ropes, we descend down. There is a sandy floor, and it's all jumbled with root and weed and mud down at the bottom. And we advance forward. Now, our guys can move 60 feet, essentially, every turn. Now, each of these squares are only 5 feet, so every turn we can move 12 squares throughout this dungeon. And then we mark off our torch every 12 squares. We move forward, and I'm going to highlight as we do, and we reach our first junction. Will we go left or right? Evens left, odds right. We are going right. We move down the hallway. Another 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've gone a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Basically, a full 10-minute turn, we're advancing. When we come across a thick-rooted passage, there are brambles and it looks like maybe sharp thorns wrapping across the floor. And our adventurers are smart. We're not just gonna like walk through this. We've survived a few adventures in our day, so we're just gonna cut our way through this. I think that's definitely what we would do. It's what I would do if I didn't know what was gonna happen. I know that this is not a very scary situation, but I'm not gonna take any chances. We hack our way through this little spot, and as we do, the ground begins to shake. We hear moaning amongst the roots and the earth. It's almost as if the ground itself is alive. We press forward until we reach a very strange room filled with green faces that poke out of the soil. And they yell at us. They speak in unison to us, in harmony, as they begin to tell us in so many different kinds of voices. We will answer for treasure. They sing almost like a chorus. So, my heroes begin to offer up gold. We will offer 3 payments of 5 gold, which will give us 3 clues about this dungeon. The first clue that we get: forgotten treasure lies buried by the river. Ooh, buried by the river. Okay, so we should write that down because I don't want to forget that detail. That seems like it could be good. We're gonna write that down. Table shaking coming. All right. Treasure buried by the river. Okay, let's see what the next clue is. We're gonna re-roll any repeats. 4, do not meddle with the hunter. His presence still haunts these caverns. Okay, don't mess with the hunter. Don't mess with the hunter. We don't want any of that trouble. Okay, and then the last clue is number 1. The sheephead's treasure is guarded in a room of horrors. The sheephead guarded by horror. Horrors. Terrible truths and terrible monsters. All right, we have a decent amount of clues. We're going to pay 15 gold. And we are going to move on. We thank the faces. Now, we have a choice to make. Do we go north, or do we continue straight? Evens, we go north. Straight is odds. We have evens, we are going to go north and veer off our path just a little bit. As we go into the northern tunnel, we begin to smell. Oh, it smells nice. It smells like a bakery, like fresh pies have been set out. And we mark off our torch and our first random encounter check on a 1, or on a 1 only actually in this dungeon, on a 1. We have our first random encounter. We roll. Our random encounters are on, if you're following along at home, you can skip back just a little bit to page 8 and page 9. Rolling a d20, what do we get? 3. A sudden swirling gust of wind extinguishes torch and candles. Lanterns have a 3 in 6 chance of remaining. We actually don't have any lanterns. Our torch goes out, and that is when the creatures come. Skipping forward through the darkness, we hear the click, clap, click, clap, click, clap of their cloven hooves. They start to bleat at us. Who goes there? We take a moment. We light up our torch. We get it going again. And in the darkness, we can see as the light begins to spread into this tunnel. There are 4 goat-headed creatures. Maybe like fawns. Maybe they could be interpreted as fawns. But we know the truth. These things they have horrors that they are hiding. We know that they have treasure, but they're guarded by horrors. Now, lawful and innocent creatures would never work alongside true horror. And so we have our weapons ready, and we hear them out. They invite us into their lair for tea and cookies. And as lawful heroes who are destined through birthright and through the charge and righteous path that God has laid out before us, we are dedicated to destroying these monsters. We are going to roll for combat because the faces and the roots have already told us these things are evil. Heroes are green. Monsters will have them as red. Are we going to prepare any spells? No, I don't think we are. Our frontline guys are going to... We're currently like right here, so maybe my frontline guys are right here in this little nook, but most of my team is still in the root faces. And so my back guys are going to be shooting their bows. My middle team... Actually, let's talk a little bit about magic items now. Augustus has the Rod of Parrying that we received a couple of sessions ago. Godfrey has the Blade of the Fallen, the really awesome sword that's good against the undead. Dirk is carrying the Astral Sword of the Dragon, which is a +1 magic sword that he got off of our thief, Fingers McGonagall, because he's up front and he needs a sword. Fingers, on the other hand, he's still just rocking his ring of invisibility. He does have the Trident of Fish command that he can use if he gets into melee, but mostly he's just going to use his bow. He has silvered and regular arrows. And Ruby May, it now possesses the Staff of Growing +1, so she will be able to swing a melee attack from the second rank. And then Kristoff has the Staff of Power, which still has 12 charges, and a Wand of Negation, which could stop other magic items. Second row, no magic items, but plenty of silver daggers. We've got a lot of silver daggers on him. Elrandon is just rocking silver arrows and regular arrows, nothing special there. And then Chandler has no magic weapon, just a plain sling and a plain mace. We are declaring combat. We are not declaring any spells this round. Let's see who goes first. The goat creatures are going to go first. Oh, sorry, the number of them is 3. Sorry, there are 3 of them. Now, these guys are pretty crazy, man. They do quite a bit of combat. So they are going to kind of like dig their toes in just a little bit, and they are going to come attacking at us. The first is, the red is Ramius. Then let's do blue Ramius. Red will be Yuli, and Shorny will be in green. All right, we've got a bunch of misses against our front line because our lowest front line AC is 18, and they only have a +1 to their attack. So these are all 3 misses on their ram attack. Now they slice out with their knives. Again, ching, 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 they hit only armor. Now it's my team's turn. So first we have Fingers, Chandler, and Elrandon shooting. All right, it looks like with their armor class of 13, even with a +1, we've got 2, actually, Fingers has a +4 at this range, is a 12, but that's still a miss. So we only have 1 hit from Elrandon with the bow. 3 damage on the first goat, on Ramus. And now we've got melee attacks. We've got Dirk Cold Breath. We've got Augustus. We've got Godfrey. Oh, let's do Godfrey in white. And we have Ruby May here. Let's go. All right, we have a natural run from Augustus, complete with. Here, we do have a hit from Dirk Cold Breath. We have a miss from Godfrey. This is really depressing. And with Ruby's +1, also misses. So we've got a D8 of damage, but with the bonus from the weapon mastery of Dirk Cold Breath, let's take a look here. Dirk has the Astral Sword, which is +1. He has a +1 from his strength, and he has Weapon Master Swords. That's going to give him a +3 to the damage on a D8. 8 + 3, 11 damage. Dirk slices into Remus, bringing him down. There are 2 left. Yuli and Shorny, the wives, the females, with their nubby horns, and black, one's in black dress and the other one in a polka dot. They rear back. And now we go back to the top of the round. We go first. Our ranged attacks. This is going to be a hit. This is going to be a hit. And this is a miss. We have 2 hits. Now, one is a D6 of damage. The other is just a D4 because Chandler is only using a stone from a sling. All right, we have 7 damage. That is not enough to bring down the second goat. But our melee attacks are coming in. We see an arrow fly, a rock sling, smack. The goats reel in agony. But now the blades come out. Oh, you know what? We'll have one of the daggers thrown from our magic user. He currently has how many? He has 4. Kristoff has 4 silver daggers. He'll throw one as well. Oh, that's a miss. So one of them goes flying down this hallway. And then we've got melee. We have 1 miss for sure. Augustus is just wild, swinging wildly with his rod of parrying, not doing anything. We need to check Godfrey's numbers, though. Godfrey has a +1, making that a 10. His sword is another +1, making an 11. And that's it. We have 2 misses, 2 hits. We have the Staff of Growing, which is a d6 +1. That is enough to kill the second Yuli goat head. You see her horn snap. Her head twist. She falls. Dirk does 8 damage in total, which is enough to bring down the last Shorny, slicing the last goat from groin to sternum. They fall. Our heroes make the... actually, after that, we must take a break. We sit down in the root area where the faces come out and haunt us, and they tell us, yes, that was the goat monsters. We continue down the path after a short rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we make it past some little nooks. It seems that this is where these fawn monsters live. And we see that there are these little nooks in the wall, and there are some cloaks and hats hanging in there. We quickly pat them down. There's really nothing in there, but we do find a key. A key in one of the pockets. A key in the pocket. And we move on past that to the waiting area, and there is a nice little table, and there's a bell sitting on the table, but we're not going to ring it and cause any kind of chaos or noise. But once we reach that space, we must roll a random encounter. 4. We press past this, winding through the tunnel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we get to this main chamber. There's a lot going on in this room. And what we see is it looks like a study. There are books lining the walls. There's a little table and chair, but Kristoff is unable to stop himself. He has to go through these books. He has to check them. He pulls them off the shelf. He starts opening them and reading them. And he finds it's just a bunch of childish nonsense rhymes. There's no magic spells, which is what he really wanted. So we press on. Until we get to a kitchen. We can see that it's a kitchen. There's a little kettle, and there's plates laid out. We can see there's cookies and tea, but we brought our own rations, and we know these creatures are evil. Maybe this is human cookies. Maybe they ground up our bones and turned it into flour. No, we're not messing around with that. We do quickly scan around the room. We'll spend 10 minutes searching, making sure there's just no treasure or anything. And let's see what we can find. We have a lot of checks to do. We have 8. On a 1, we find something. No. No. And 2 more. No. We spend 10 minutes, everybody's like searching around the pantry. We find nothing of any use, and so we move on. We come finally to the bedroom. It's still made of cobblestones, and there's a nice bed, but next to the bed is a pile of bones and skull. And there's a wooden chest. We see that looking at the chest, Fingers is going to check it out real quick. He just wants to make sure that it's not trapped. So we are going to roll on Fingers to succeed on a treasure. He needs 25 or under. So let's see if our man can do it. He gets a 1. So when we actually see the 10 on this really strange die, it's actually a 1. He gets a perfect score, a crit success. He is not only able to find it, he is able to quickly see. He scans around and he sees that there is no trouble. He pops open the lock and gets inside. With a natural 1, we're going to give him the best possible success. And they find quite a bit of treasure. Our first cachet of 487 GP, 192 silver pieces, 202 copper pieces, a ring that's worth 400 GP, and a scroll on sheepskin, a sheepskin scroll. Now that is a hard thing to say, but it has charm person on it, detect evil, and phantasmal force, which I don't know if magic users can use that one. We then wind our way back. And as we get back to the root room, the root faces room, we have to take a break. We've been at this for an hour now. We relight our torches, and nothing comes to bother us, thankfully. We press on. After just enough time to relax a little bit, and we reach our next intersection. If we go north, it's even. If we go straight, it's odd. We go north. We cut straight up. All right. We get up to... We're on our second torch now. We are burning brightly through our torch. Let's make sure we're not knocking it off of the screen. Yeah, you can still see everything. All right. We get up to an intersection where we can see there is a dead body lying on the ground. It's a skeleton of a warrior. There's an archway in front of us with weird skull carvings in it. And we can see that the skeleton has a huge, like, smashing cut through the side of the body. There is 25 gold in the pocket, plus a cool little necklace. Let's go ahead and write down that treasure because we're going to need that later. That's 40 gold. 40 gold pieces. Okay. But something has triggered this this death, and we're thinking that the arch is probably trapped. So what we have to do, let's just see if my team can find the trap. If we can, we will just roll a bunch of dice. All of my dudes can only find traps on a 1, unless if it's a treasure trap. So We need a 1. No. Okay. So Augustus finds it. The leader of this caravan, this crew, he says, whoa, hold on. There it is. It's a pressure plate right there in the center. So what we're going to do, because if we step through the arch, we're going to hit that pressure plate. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop. We're going to come back. We're going to double back this way. We're going to grab the bodies of these things. We're going to throw it down on the trap. As the trap is sprung, the blades swing down. We'll stick an iron spike in there to jam it so it can't reset. And so we are going to have to spend 10 minutes doing that. And that's going to cause our torch to burn and a random monster check to occur. And as we are throwing the spike into the trap, just hooking it into place, we have something happens. Something unfolds before us. And we're going to roll a d20 to find out what that is. A swirling purple vortex manifests in the air in front of the party. Anything or anyone that enters the vortex is teleported. The destination of the teleport is a randomly selected area of the dungeon. So it's actually right here in this space, and it's a tornado. My group actually, let's see if they're going to be smart enough to figure this out. We're going to have the most clever, the arcane guy that we have. Christoph has an intelligence of 18. He's going to tell us, okay, we'll roll a d20. If he can succeed on an intelligence check, there's a 15% chance of failure. Okay, he succeeds. He tells us this is a teleportation portal. It is not dangerous. It's not going to rip us apart like a miniature storm, but we don't know where it's going to take us. So don't go into it. Let's turn back. We do. We turn back. We're going to come back down this way. And the only path available to us now is through this large cavern. So we see a natural cavern. It smells like ammonia. It stinks a little bit like batshit guano. And we light up as we're like looking around with our torch, we can see that there are bats nesting in the cave at the top. We try not to mess with it. We're going to come through for a while. This is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Okay. The path spreads out before us and it gets pretty large. With our light source, we can see the other side of the cave. And we're going to mark off our torch just a little bit as we fill in going left and right in the space, and we hit another intersection. Evens, north, odds, straight. We decide to turn north. We move up to a door. Now let's learn about this door just a little bit. While I have read this dungeon, I don't know all like the little details. So the door is going to be stuck. So we will need to roll to see if we can even open it. Actually, the team, like, boom, boom, boom. They spend a good amount of time just trying to get in, and they cannot. They cannot get in. So we have to take 10 minutes and smash down the door. Now, when we do that, it triggers a random monster check. Plus, the 10-minute mark here means another random monster check. We have 2 random monster checks. If we get a 1 on either of these, something happens while we're breaking down this door. We don't, luckily. Okay, we smash down the door and we see inside this room is just massive piles of sand. We do have shovels, So, and we have like 10-foot poles. So we start like digging around in the sand, and we're gonna spend 10 minutes searching through it. And let's see if in that 10 minutes we find the secret door piled up behind the sand pile. Everybody's just kind of like digging around. We need a total of 8 checks every time. On a 1, we have success. We have success. Actually, it's Fingers, the clever guy. He's digging around with the 10-foot pole. He finds the secret door to room number 37. We open it up, pulling back the sand, digging it back, and we see it's a closet filled with glass jars. And inside the jars, you can see tiny teeth like floating in some kind of water or maybe formaldehyde. There's shredded hair in there and insect tusks. And inside one of the jars it says, "This is the collection of Hazred the Unholy." But there doesn't seem to be anything else in this room. So as we're digging about in this room for 10 minutes, we do find the secret door. We have a stuck door here. Let's see if we can get it open. No. And then 2 more checks. Both. Okay. Everybody in the front's like trying to get it open. The guy's like, no, hang on, move aside. We slide the door open, and before us we can see 2 ghostly figures doing battle with each other in silence. Their blades are swinging and clashing against each other. Now, we need another intelligence check. These are just apparitions. There's no need to do battle with them or engage with them. They're locked in an eternal struggle with each other. All right. The light fills up this room pretty clearly, and we see we have a decision to make. We can go left or we can go right. Evens or odds. Odds. We decide to go right. All right. We move down this hallway, creeping along. We're moving slowly, guys. This is 10 minutes of movement, just coming from this door, around the corner, to this other door here, because we're constantly checking for creatures, for traps, for holes in the ground that we could fall and tumble into our doom. We see there's a door in front of us, and there's a door to the south. Evens, south. Odds, straight ahead. All right, we turn south, and we have come to a locked door. There is a lock on this door. Now, first we are going to listen. Let's have Fingers is good at listening, and he's also really good at unlocking doors. So first we're going to do a listen check. On a 1 to 3, he can hear what's on the other side. He does hear. They're speaking in a language that Fingers does not know. No, he doesn't know this language. They're kind of... Well, actually, let's check and see if there's what language they're speaking. They might be speaking... Okay, we're going to assume that they're speaking a language that we don't know, because it's the only thing on here is their alignment, not the language that they speak. So they probably do speak common, but when they're amongst themselves, they're just speaking their native tongue of Gnomish. And we can hear there are, let's see. Okay, they're not sleeping, they're actually talking amongst themselves in Gnomish. There are a total of 4 voices on the other side of this room. They're arguing about the plans. How? It seems like they're they're in a relaxed state. They're not on guard duty. And as everyone else is resting, this is what we relight another torch, and this is what Fingers hears. They're discussing how best to take over the nearby kingdoms, to serve the great stump, to allow his roots to take hold in every kingdom. And so, quietly, Fingers is going to try to unlock this door without alerting anyone. To succeed on this, we need a 30 or under. He cannot get it open. It doesn't work. So he can no longer check this one until he levels up. We do have the knock spell on our wizard, our magic user. But first, let's try to open up this door. That's another 10 minutes as he spins. We do need a random monster check. Nothing happens. So, we come over to this door, and he's going to give it a listen. Again, he can hear. Another random monster check. Because the process of unlocking the door, listening at the door, all of this takes a lot of time. But he can hear what's inside room number 55. It is a total of 1 guard singing quietly to himself about the joys of fishing. We open the door and we try to get the drop on him. Is the little guy surprised? He's not. We go to combat. Yes, we go to combat because we hear that they are trying to spread their evil cult and take over and conquer other kingdoms because Fingers McGonagall succeeded on his checks. He gets something for that. And so we come in swinging. We charge forward because you can charge in this game. We were doing it wrong months ago when we didn't know quite how to play the game, but having read Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of the rules make much more sense now. And so charging happens regardless of who wins initiative. You have a bonus to your attack and a minus to your defense, and we are going to come in charging. Our 3 main guys our 3 frontline guys are going to come in charging with a +2 to their attack. We have just terrible luck. Everybody misses. And then it's going to go to combat. We still go first. We're going to take some random shots from the back. We've got... Let's do White being our mage. Kristoff. All right, now we have 2 hits. We have a stone that hits, and Elrandon succeeds with his arrow. So that's a d4 and a d6 of damage. For a total of 6 damage, that is enough to kill the little gnome before he has a chance to call for backup. We crush in. Now this room is actually, I don't think it's dark. Let's actually check that. Let's check. $54. 55 is the room we're in. Okay, there are no torches in this room, but we do hear to the north there is a sound of rushing water beyond that door. And there is a tunnel right out here, so we need to be really careful. We're going to post up some guards over here as we search this room. After combat, takes 10 minutes, and we also have time to search this room. We see there is a closed door here, but there is one item of note that's really useful amongst all of these baskets. They're full of fishing supplies like string, fishing line, there's hooks, nets, things like that. But there's a spray bottle, and on it it says lizard repellent. And so we're gonna put that down, lizard repellent. We're gonna write that down on our notes because that could come in handy. Okay, now we have this open pathway here. We're gonna move down and see, well, yeah, because the doors here is closed, so we're gonna stay with this open path because we don't want to be surprised by anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We come into here and we see there's a bunch of doors. And so now we really need to make a choice, and I think it's to go straight here because this is another open path. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We come to here. As we come around the corner and into the shadow light, out of the shadows and into the light, we are going to bump into something here. I think at room 59, there are things waiting for us. So as soon as we come around the corner, they're not going to be surprised anymore. We might be surprised, though. It's a dining room. There are wooden tables and stools. There's flickering candles, so there's a little bit of light in there. Maybe we could see it, too. We see a door among this back wall here. And I don't see any gnomes in this room, but there is a giant rat. Now let's see how this rat responds to us. 5, it's going to be mostly hostile with that check. Yeah, 5 is mostly hostile. So it is going to scamper off under the door and hide in the room beyond, squeaking the whole way. We come into this room. It's already has its own light source. We can see it's a dining hall, but there's no gnomes inside. No gnomes. But that is going to trigger a random monster check. As we hear it scamper off and we make our torches fill up the room and we kind of like look around and we're like checking under things, there's nothing of value. But we have hit random monster checks, haven't we, today? We roll a d20. 16 gives us 1d4 lizardmen, daub with blue paint, sneak into the sacred caverns behind the waterfall. Ah, okay. So we come into this room, and from the direction of the water, so they come in from behind us down, like maybe they followed us down and they were like following behind us as we lit our torches along this way. There are 3 lizardmen. Now, 9. They're pretty friendly to us. They try to speak to us in a broken common. Let's actually see if the lizard people can speak common, because I know that the gnomes can. But I don't know, let's set this down. I don't know if lizard folk can. So let's open our book. We're almost there. Living lizard, giant lizards. Monitor lizardmen. Okay, let's see, what languages can they speak? They're semi-intelligent, aquatic humans with reptilian heads, often encountered in swamps or dungeons. Okay. Well, since they're intelligent, we're going to say they have some kind of common. And since they are friendly to us, they're going to share with us some random fact about the dungeon. They don't want to fight. They are at war with these little crazy gnomes who are trying to take over their kingdom, along with many others. But they do want to share with us something that they know. They know that a giant wizard once dwelt in this cavern beneath the oak, and you have to beware of his deadly bronze golem that roams about. It's lethal. Be very careful. We thank them for sharing this information with us. And they move on about their goals, and we move on about ours. That will be... Now we have a choice to make. We have a door here, here, and here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to come down to this door, and we're going to try to listen on the other side. We can hear what's on the other side. It is 53, room number 53. I hope I'm not covering up the map all too often. I hope you guys can see it sometimes, because I printed out this big version so you guys could see it. Let's just double check here. Excellent. All right, let's adjust it just a little bit. Okay, in room 53. We have, I'm guessing, some kind of kitchen space. And so there are several voices. It sounds like 4 in total. They're singing some nursery rhymes, and they're singing like, whistle while you work, and they're chopping up food. You can hear it. You can smell the sounds of mushrooms and bread baking, and we hear them, and so we are going to try to get the drop on them. We open the door. Are they surprised? They are not. They have kitchen knives. They're ready to go. We're ready to go. I think before initiative is rolled, we are just going to cast sleep on them, and then we're going to search the pockets of the 5 gnomes in total, if we can pull this spell off. So before we're gonna cast sleep, the rest of my team are gonna do their missile and melee. Let's see who goes first. It's a tie, so we're gonna go again. Tie, go again. We go first. Oh, sorry, we're the purple here. I forgot to roll the green. They go first. They are going to throw their kitchen knives. All 4 of them are going to throw them at our magic user who's trying to cast the sleep spell. They all have a +0. Our magic user, his AC, Christoph, his AC is 9. It should be very easy to do it. Miss, natural 20, and a hit. So we have 2 hits for 2. 5 damage on Christoph. His spell is broken. And Christoph is down to 1 hit point. That was almost it for Christoph. Yikes. Now the rest of my team is going to attack. We've got 1, 2, 3 attacks from the back. Is there going to be 4? Let's see. 3 attacks from the back. Here we go. We have 2 hits. Elrandon misses. So we have a D6 and a D4 of damage at the first gnome. That is enough to bring down the first chef. You can see blood from the arrows covering the chef's the cooking gear, the white hat, the white cooking gloves. Everything starts to turn red as the little gnome falls to the ground. Then our melee will happen. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's see. For the first time, Dirk misses wildly. With a 12. Let me make sure that this is a hit on the little gnomes. We want to make sure our numbers are right. The gnomes have an AC of 14. So we only have 1 hit. It is at a +2 damage. We have a D8 +2 because of the magic item. 5 damage is enough to bring down the second gnome. They have lost half of their numbers. We are going to the top of the round. They will be doing a morale check. They are actually screaming right now for help. They're like, help, help, help. Actually, let's color in this room because we have actually come inside now. All right, yeah, they're screaming for help. And we have a total of 1 round until reinforcements come. We go first. We are going to launch our arrows and stones and daggers. We've got 1, 2, 3. And Christoph is going to throw a dagger to get the last 2. We have a hit, and that's it. Just 1 hit. Christoph's dagger. 2 is not enough to kill. I don't think that's enough to kill the gnome. The gnome has 4 hit points, right? Yes, it has 4 hit points. And then melee. Much more successful. We've got Elrandon's bow with a +1, or his bow staff, actually. That's 6 damage on 1, killing him. Then we have Dirk Coldbreath's sword. That is 1 + 3 for a total of 4, enough to kill that. With that, the last 2 gnomes fall. But as we do, the door opens from 57 and I think from 51. Let's make sure. Okay, let's see. 2 and 6 chance. Yes, okay. And then from 51, let's check that one. Yeah. Okay, 1 guard. Okay, and then how many was with our leader here? Our intrepid hero leader. Let's see. From 57, there is 1d3. Okay, 1. All right. So from this door, a gnome steps in. From this one, 2 gnomes step in. One of them has a stump tattooed to his forehead. And he speaks in common and he says, "You have stumbled into your doom. The great stump will prevail. There's nothing you can do to stop us. You have met your grim fate, for I am Grim, the apostate." He pulls out his blade. The little gnomes on either side also pull out their blades. And we are going to go to combat again. We have spells that we can do. We're going to cast Sleep on the 2 over here, and we are going to cast Healing Word. Chandler's going to cast Healing Word on our magic user. Our magic user is going to Christoph is going to cast Sleep, and let's have Fingers go invisible. He just activates the ring with a word. No action required. All right, let's see if we can win initiative here. If we can, we're in a good spot. We do. Excellent news. So let's do ranged attacks. We're going to have a +2 on this number, plus the 4 for range and bonuses, because Fingers and McGonagall is invisible right now. So he gets a +2 to his attacks. That's going to be a +6 to whatever we roll here. And he's shooting at this guy on the far side. And then, yeah, and then the other guys are also going to shoot at this guy. He's going to be the only one standing. And so we're going to go ahead and make that happen. All right, we have a +6. That's a 12 to hit. That's a miss. But these 2 are going to hit. We have a D6, which is a bow, and this is supposed to be red, but it's a D4, which is a stone. 8 damage. Boom, boom. An arrow hits him in the head. The stone cracks his jaw. He falls. That's a total of 6 gnomes down. The other 2, the gnomes, fall. Boom. The spell goes off. Magic. He falls asleep. The heal spell goes off for 4. A D6 + 1. So Christoph is at 5 hit points now. We quickly dispatch these other 2 gnomes, the gnome leader and his sidekick, for a total of 7 gnomes and then the boss. We are going to roll up some treasure. because each of these gnomes has something in their pockets, and the boss has some magic items. And so we're going to distribute those, and then that will be it for the session today. We'll pause here, and we'll continue the dungeon adventure in our next session. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this today. I had a lot of fun running it today. Let's roll up what is in each of the pouches. We have 7 checks to make. 2 d20 silver pieces, okay. 26 silver. All right, next check. Another bit of silver. We have 14 silver. That's 2. This is 3. 7 is a black pearl that heals 1d3. We're going to use that right away on our magic user. He's going to go up to 6. That's 3. This is number 4. A ball of chunky red wool. We don't need that. A flask of whiskey. We take a sip of that. 2 more checks. 2 is a gem worth 2d100 gold pieces. Okay, so let's roll that up right now. This is a nice little treasure. 49 and 95 GP. That is a nice little token. And then we also get a couple of magic items because Grim, the leader, has +1 chainmail and a +1 shield. So we will distribute that amongst our heroes. Guys, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. There will be more episodes of The Hole in the Oak coming soon. I hope that you guys are going to be along for this journey because that was a bunch of fun for me. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.